Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Johnson, and welcome to something new. This is a brand new thing on my channel. It's a podcast sort of thing, and with me is
Mr. Womble. Hello.
yeah. Okay, so basically,
I don't know why I suddenly introduced myself in a really weird voice, but that's how it's going to start.
Yeah. Okay. Good to meet you. So basically, what the whole gist of this thing is going to be basically just a movie podcast where we talk about films, because me and Womble are big cinephiles, and I know from like your channel you've done movie dots and
Yes.
recently, and some of the first videos on my channel were actually movie reviews, so we've had slight histories with movie reviews on our channels, but really, for me, I'm a big movie fan, but I don't have much movie content on my channel, so I thought this would be a cool way to sort of add something new, so, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I'm just going to go over my sort of history in films. Basically, I've always loved films, and I grew up literally watching movies and TV shows and plays and things like that. So, like, acting, directing, that sort of thing, that's kind of my go-to. I'm very good with that sort of thing. Also, I was a paid actor.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, yeah, I was. Not a very successful paid actor, but I have been a paid actor.
Did you get gigs, if anything?
Yeah, that's in like soap operas in the UK. I've been in hit things here, there, and everywhere on TV. TV's not too big, but I was mainly
so like local
actor.
television or
no,
like actual things that were.
It was fully regional. So
I did not know that actually.
Yeah,
we're finding out some new stuff every day.
It was a while ago now, because I've sort of left that part of me behind. But I do have quite a lot of ties to cinema, and I know a lot of people in the trade and directors and things like that.
That's pretty cool, actually. No,
just because I know all this and that I did do all this doesn't mean that I have the right opinion ever. I am massively wrong a lot of the times. All you have to do is go into my comments section.
Yeah, I don't think there's such thing as a right opinion. There's just the popular opinion, and
well, yeah, no. My opinions are fine. Like, opinions are fine. It's when I goof up on like people's names.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dates.
So experience. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll probably be just forgetting loads of things. So if your commenters are just like go ape shit about me being an idiot, well, I am an idiot. Oh, am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, no, you can swear all you fucking want. Honestly, this is not
okay.
This is not child friendly. I don't really care. Like, I bet you kids are probably like used to like YouTube. Like, YouTube's a fucking So like, even if it's made for kids, they're probably gonna see something like fucked up anyway. So what's
Yeah, so anyway, that's sort of my background.
For me, similarly, I've loved watching movies ever since I was really young. I currently have ambitions of becoming a film director. I'm going to be going to film college pretty soon. And yeah, it's a big aspiration of mine. I really hope I get some success, but it's, film industry is like a hard industry, just like any art medium, so we'll see.
It is very difficult, and a piece of advice from someone who has worked in the trade, probably the best way to do it, especially if you want to be like a film director, is literally just buy a camera and just start doing films. That's literally all that you have to do, and then you just keep building up on your kit, and then you will do then you put your CV and your portfolio together. And then you start doing commercial stuff, so like adverts and things. And then it builds up and builds up. And it's literally just the first step is buying a camera and just doing stuff, like writing ideas and just going for it.
I've definitely done that. It's not like I haven't been doing films. I've done short films of the like, nothing too big, but I have worked with some people and have made a portfolio good enough to get into some really big colleges.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to disclose too much into that, but yeah. So
no, that's fair enough.
Yeah, but now that we've gone through our histories with film, let's go on to the main topic of this podcast, something There's going to be a different topic each week. The main one that we're going to be talking about.
Spoiler alert, it's about movies.
Yeah, but it's all film related, and all of our discussion is going to be film related for the most part. And pretty much, if you have suggestions for future topics, we're definitely going to be checking it out. I'm definitely going to... This is going to be... Yeah. So, what's today's topic for this pilot sort of episode?
Today's topic for the pilot episode was... I can't remember what we agreed on. Oh, sequels that never should have been.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so sequels to movies that, frankly, shouldn't deserve a sequel or just got, for whatever reasons, okay?
There's quite a lot of these sort of movies coming out recently. Like,
oh, yeah, definitely.
Alice Through the Looking Glass really pissed me off. That's one movie that just didn't need to be made. I mean, the first movie...
You were a big fan of that movie, or at least liked it enough.
Alice Through the Looking Glass.
No, the first Alice.
The first one, yeah, I liked it. I'm not a massive fan. I thought it was okay. I thought it did a great enough job of what it was trying to do, and it was to be effectively. It was released in the summer. It was trying to be a summer blockbuster. It didn't have to have a load of meaning behind it. It was very visually nice, and it was enjoyable just to sit down and watch. And I've watched that a few times, and I still feel that same way. But Alice Through the Looking Glass is just atrocious.
For me personally, I wasn't the biggest fan of that first Alice movie. I felt it's not. I'm not against the whole adventure element, making an adventure film out of the Alice concept. I just felt it was really boring. I felt it was really uninteresting. The make Alice wasn't that interesting, and Tim Burton is a great director, and he's done a bunch of interesting films. So. I don't know. I feel like this was not one of his better ones, but
no, that's true. And I think a lot of audiences pretty much were very split. So
yeah.
Like some of the audience loved it, and some of the audiences hated it. But from what I can gather, with Through the Looking Glass, it's pretty widely hated. Like a lot of critics have been panning it quite widely.
It's probably not. It's not a good movie, but I'm not surprised that one got made into a movie because. I'm pretty sure Alice in Wonderland was a successful film, and it's understandable that we're trying to make a franchise out of this.
It made very close to $1 billion, I think.
Yeah, so it's a success. It's commercially. Alice in Wonderland is a big that. I can see being a franchise. There are other movies where I just feel like they're just not memorable enough for me. A recent one that's just came out, or a teaser just came out for it. Jack Reacher is getting a sequel.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Who the that was such a I've never seen the movie. I don't think most humans have not seen that movie.
Well, effectively Jack Reacher is just. From what I remember, it was just a Tom Cruise film. That was
it was pretty much just Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise,
action star. It was him trying to do Mission Impossible, but in another franchise, and it didn't quite work.
He's done better. He's done Mission Impossible 5. He's done Edge of Tomorrow. Those were better action films. That was
Edge of Tomorrow. That was actually perfection. I think that's probably one of his best movies. I
feel like that. That was one of those. It's never gonna get a sequel, but I feel like that one could that.
I don't want it. But the whole point is that I don't want these sequels.
That's the movie I think that deserves a sequel more than Jack Reacher, though. And
well, yeah.
We can argue on that, but still, we can all acknowledge Jack Reacher is not. No one gave a shit about Jack Reacher, and it's getting a movie. I saw I actually posted this on Twitter, but it was the teaser for it said Jack Reacher 2, and that's not the title of it. But it's Jack Reacher 2 or a subtitle, whatever. But it was such a blatant error. I really actually hoped it was called Jack Reacher because that's such a stupid title. But I kind of wanted it to be that title.
Yeah,
like Alien with aliens and that kind of thing. But
yeah. Well,
I don't know why.
Another franchise that has a sequel coming out really soon is the Bridget Jones series, and yeah, no, there's going to be a new Bridget Jones film.
What was it going to... Is it going to be like Bridget Jones' Diary?
Well, yeah, because there's Bridget Jones Bridget Jones's Diary, that was the first one, which I actually personally really enjoy that film.
I haven't seen that one.
For me, that's actually probably one of my favorite romantic comedy style of films, and I do enjoy watching that, and I have watched that a number of times, and I'm man enough to say that I like that film. Okay. Then they did Bridget Jones' Edge of Reason, which is awful. It is appalling. It didn't need to be made. It was just...
When was that made?
That was a couple of years after Bridget Jones's Diary.
Okay, because I've never heard of any of these films, so...
Well, the third one, I don't know what it's called, but I know there's Bridget Jones 3, and effectively Bridget Jones gets pregnant. That's the whole premise of the film.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay.
Renee Zellweger now as well. Like,
so they're doing. Is it gonna be like they're continuing with the same characters, same story, or is it like a reboot sort of thing?
Yeah, no, it's the same characters, same story.
Oh, okay, okay.
Bridget Jones, it's like Renee Zellweger when she did Bridget Jones, she was very charming because for the time there hadn't been like a female lead that was very bumbling, mislooked, a bit silly, stupid, daft in places, but rough around the edges, but actually really cool on the inside and had such a great character arc. And that's why I like Bridget Jones's Diary, because it gives that character arc that transfers over through the whole film, and then you're like rooting for Bridget and I can't remember his name who was in it. He was in King's Speech.
Colin Farrell?
That's the one. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there's also Hugh
Laurie?
No. It's probably not even Hugh. I don't care. But
okay.
There's some...
Hugh Grant?
See, this is what I mean. Hugh Grant. There we go.
Yeah.
This is what I mean when I said...
I haven't seen the movie, but I know the actors of it.
Yes. So it had Hugh Grant and Colin Firth in the early 2000s, and it worked. It was a good film. It generally did work. From what I can see, Hugh Grant's pretty much said, "I don't want to do this film anymore."
I can see that.
Colin Firth, I think he is going to still be in it, and obviously Renee Zellweger, which has gone from that plump, charming, prettier on the inside girl to being this dosed up on rat poison Hollywood star.
Oh god.
Like with a really skinny, obviously Botoxed face.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't work. She can't sell that character anymore. Yeah. So why does it need doing?
It's probably because like sequels are going to be made for popular films, no matter how stupid they are. Actually, one of the films I want to talk about for this one is one that I thought was going to be like a stupid sequel, and I still think it is, but it surprisingly became a good movie. The one that just came out recently, Finding Dory, the Pixar one.
I haven't actually seen that.
I've seen that one. I've actually seen that. It's relatively recently this week. And,
I know why I haven't seen that, because it's not been released in the UK yet.
Okay, so I'd say check it out. Pixar has had an iffy record with its sequels. Like there's Toy Stories. The Toy Story ones are really good, and Cars.
Toy Story 3 was brilliant.
Yeah,
Toy Story 3 is probably the best one, and Toy Story 2 is pretty good as well.
Definitely, Toy Story 3 is one of my favorites. But then you have stuff like Monsters University and Cars 2 especially. They're like the lesser of Pixar's films. When I first heard about Finding Dory, I thought that was the stupidest idea ever, because I'm a big fan of Finding Nemo. That's one of my personal favorite Pixar films, and the fact they were making a sequel of it, it sounded stupid. And the fact they were focusing on Dory, I was so expecting this to suck in a lot of ways, but it was a really good film. I'm not gonna say too much of it because you haven't seen it, but
no, I haven't. No.
Yeah,
and it's a fairly new one as well, because I know it's supposed to come out this month.
Yeah, so I recommend it though. I think it's on the Toy Story side of
Pixar sequels. I'll definitely be going to. I watch anything Pixar. I love Pixar.
Yeah, I'd say check it out. It's really. I'm not gonna explain too much, but it's a really good story. That's the thing. It's a good story that's not the same rehashed. It's not Finding Nemo, but with Finding Dory. It's a different story. They do different things. There's new characters, and it's about the same charm as what made Finding Nemo great. I'm still iffy on whether I prefer this to Finding Nemo. I think nostalgia and I gotta rewatch Finding Nemo to compare, but it's really good. It's really good. If you want to talk more about good movies, but we can continue with like the crap, because you mentioned other films that, like you mentioned Alice in the Looking Glass, but there's also Independence Day.
Yes, Independence Day, Resurgence. Now I'm not going to go into that too much because I know it's not released in America. See, we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. Okay. But just explain what's your thoughts on it, like without being spoiler.
My thoughts. I actually have recorded a movie thoughts for this. I need to edit the videos for it. But essentially, my main problem with it is that the characters don't have enough charisma, as the first one did. Because that was the whole point in Independence Day for me, was the character arc of Will Smith's character.
Yeah, he's not in the movie. He's not in this one, I think.
No, he's not, exactly. Yeah.
He's got better things to do.
Well, he's been replaced with Liam Hemsworth, who is in himself a very good character.
He played the president, right? In the first one? Or no, someone...
No,
that
was
Bill Paxton, never mind.
Bill Pullman did the president.
Yeah, completely different.
Liam Hemsworth, he has been in, like... which one's the teeny...
is Liam Hemsworth? He's basically he's on Hunger Games. He's Thor's brother, basically.
Yes,
Chris Hemsworth. Yeah.
I know him from the Hunger Games, but yeah, he's Hemsworth's little brother, and I actually think that he's probably got more acting chops on him than Chris does. I've seen him in a few films now, and I've thought, actually, yeah, that's really good, and he is good in this, but I think that the script is poorly wrote. It really is. And he can't fill Will Smith's shoes at all. Because, those are my big qualms with this. But did they really need to make a sequel to Independence Day?
People want... I think there's... I think that's the thing with Independence Day. Like, I feel like they could have made a sequel, maybe a couple of years after the film, but not this far. I don't feel like Independence Day is one of those properties that deserves, like, a revamp, like Star Wars did, like, 20 years after the fact. Like, after relevancy.
Star Wars kind of makes sense, because that's already a franchise.
That's what I mean. But Independence Day is not that kind of... I don't think it's that kind of nostalgic property.
The thing is with Independence Day is that it's pretty much shown every single year round, and people watch it every single year because it's Independence Day. I've watched it I've watched the first one a lot of times. I mean a lot of times. And there are going to be a lot of people that go to the cinema just wanting that nostalgia, and they're not going to get it. I also think it's like Jurassic World. They didn't need to make that, but they had to. They wanted to because they wanted money. And that's the main problem with sequels, because it's all about money instead of good movie making. And
no, definitely. That's really what you can say for most of these. Is they were pretty much all made for money. It's just the difference is whether they get good scripts and good, like, there are some heart behind it and effort in it. Now,
a sequel that has defied the rules, I think, other than Star Wars: The Force Awakens, because I think that entertained me, and I thought that it was as good as, as good as Jedi, probably better than Jedi.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, okay. I still haven't seen Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Haven't seen The Force Awakens? Oh, wow.
You can scream at me all.
I nearly spoiled that for you right then.
Okay, I've known some details of it though, because like it's almost impossible to avoid it. But I still need to see it. That's definitely on my short list.
But another thing that came out last year, it was about this time last year actually, was Mad Max Fury Road. Now that's a series that I loved. I absolutely loved that series, and I was horrified when I found out that they were making Mad Max Fury Road. I was like, why? Why are they making this film? They don't need to make this film.
They kept the director from the first.
Well, yeah, it's George Miller's done all four of them.
Yeah.
And he's also done Babe Pig in the City, so it's not exactly like good credentials for him.
He's done Happy Feet too, actually.
That's exactly.
That's okay.
And so there was a lot of alarm bells going off, but then I saw the first trailer, and I was just like, I was blown away by that trailer. And then the next trailer, I was still blown away. And then I sat and watched the film, and I was still blown away. And nothing really happens in that film apart from driving down a road and then coming back. That's pretty much all that happens in that film. But it's enjoyable and fun. So that's the exception.
So you're talking a bit about Mad Max. You were really blown away like a whole bunch of times. For me personally, I was one of those films where I thought, It looks all like first impressions were I wasn't really that impressed with it. I didn't really see the hype behind it. I wasn't like, oh my god, I need to see this movie. I'm not a big Mad Max guy either, so I wasn't that interested. But that said, I do think it's really good.
Pretty much. I mean, there's a lot of sequels that have been made that should not have been made, and it's just being made for money-making purposes, and that's what kind of winds me up, unfortunately.
Going all the way back to Pixar, like we talked about how great Toy Story, the Toy Story sequels are, especially Toy Story 3. I fucking hate the news about Toy Story 4, because Toy Story 3 is such a great finale film, and it's just the perfect way to end a trilogy, and they're gonna fuck it up with Toy Story 4. I feel like no matter how, if it is good, but I feel like they just ruined the chance to have a great, amazing trilogy of films, where you could say all 3 films were amazing.
You see, I disagree with that, because it is it's made by the same people. I think it's John Lasseter that is the director, and it's got Tom Hanks, it's got Tim Allen. Now, if they instead made a sequel film about the little green annoying aliens, that would piss me off, because that would be a money grab, and that would be... But whereas, because it's got all these big names behind it, and it's still like a big thing for Pixar and John Lasseter and Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, they're all going to be involved, and they've got these names down. I'm not too worried about that. It's like when they did Cars, there was a Disney remake or a Disney spin-off, but it was only Disney, it wasn't Pixar, and it was called Planes, and that was atrocious. And then they did Minions not long ago, and that was atrocious. So
but they weren't the same guy, though.
No, they're not, exactly, that's the point, but they're still sequels by the same
there's Planes
company.
Too. There's a Plane 2, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all sequels by the company to make money, whereas I feel that with Toy Story, there's still a lot of integrity there within the team. Pixar, yes... Like Cars 2 doesn't hit very well, and there is going to be a Cars 3, which I'm worried about. But they've kind of got to make some of these films to keep the money going for good things.
I can understand like a few bad films. The thing for me, my problem with Toy Story, an idea of a Toy Story 4 is I feel like they ended the series like that was Toy Story 3 was like a finale film, and I feel like it's kind of hard to like continue the story when you had such a great closer, you know what I mean? It's like when TV shows have a great finale episode, but then they have a season after that, you know? You get that feeling?
But then you could argue that point with Jedi, and you've got Force Awakens, which is like that carries on that trilogy. And there are a lot of like you could also argue that for Mad Max, and Fury Road was definitely my favorite film of last year. And it's probably the best film in the series, so...
I mean, I think it's kind of different, though, because both of those franchises had longer... For me, though, I feel like the stories of Toys... I don't know what really you can do much with Toy Story continuing the story. I feel like they wrapped their arc, the whole toys as living people kind of thing. I feel like there's not much else... Like, I could be proven wrong. I'm hoping for a good Toy Story 4... I feel like for everything else, there's potential. There's stuff you can do, but I feel like they kind of ran that story out with Toy Story 4, with Toy Story 3.
I actually have an idea now. There's only one way you're going to get someone like Tom Hanks to come back and do a fourth film, because he doesn't do that sort of thing. He doesn't really look back and keep doing the same films over and over again. I mean, even with like the Da Vinci Code, he had to be paid a lot to come back for the second film.
There's a new Da Vinci Code. There's a new one. There's a Inferno, I think.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be the best one.
Now, for Tom Hanks to keep coming back, there has to be something juicy. So this is my theory. I think that they are going to kill off Woody. And I think that's going to be the story to kill off Woody.
You really think?
Yeah.
That's
what I think. They keep hinting at it over and over again in a lot of places. Like all the way through the series, it's been hinted that these toys do have a finite life, but you don't actually see it. You never see it, and you never see the consequences. And I feel that is going to be the conclusion to the series.
So you think they're gonna kill off him at the end?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
like a Furious 7 sort of send off. Now I know that the actor of Furious 7 died before the final product of the film. They had to rework things.
Well,
But
yeah,
that ending for Furious 7 was fantastic. Like the Sam Smith song, the driving into separate ways, and the funeral and everything. That was just a brilliant way to look at it. And if there is any way, like, to see where the market... I mean, if think about it this way. Toy Story came out in 1997.
Yeah.
When this comes out, this will be, like, probably 2 years from now, I would imagine.
Maybe. I don't know.
So, like, that's 20 years worth of stuff. All the kids that watched Toy Story and grew up with Toy Story are now adults. So it's kind of logical to make, like, they've all thrown away their toys. So it would relate to the audience. And then their kids can go in and watch it and still see a really great Toy Story, relate back to the first film, and end a really fantastic franchise.
I don't know. For me, I think that's... I'm not saying that's not a bad idea for Toy Story 4. I feel like they're not going to do it, though. I feel like that's too big of a risk for Pixar.
No, I don't think that they will, because it's Disney and it's bullshit. But I think that that's how they should do it, and that is a really great way to end it.
I don't think that's going to happen, though. But we'll see what happens in the next coming years with Toy Story 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit hard to speculate, but... That's possibly where I would be able to, because like you said, like Toy Story 3 was a really great ending, and it did sum up the whole series really well. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I would like to still have faith in Pixar. Recently they have been throwing a few missteps, like The Good Dinosaur was maybe not worth mentioning.
Because they had two movies this, like, last year. It was Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur. So
yeah, you see, like, Inside Out, like, hits it out the park.
Yeah, no,
and then The Good
really
Dinosaur
good.
is just like, okay.
it's like Bugs Life level of, like, it's
I like
adequate.
Bugs Life. I thought that was really good.
I like it too. I just don't think it's like there are better Pixar films, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
there is a reason why Bugs Life hasn't got a sequel. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. But speaking of Pixar sequels, I am excited for Incredibles 2.
Oh yes. Oh my! That's the one Pixar film that I have wanted to see. That's a sequel I've wanted to see for years.
Everyone, you're
it ends on a cliffhanger. How could they not do it sooner?
It's like, it's superheroes, it's all that stuff, and it's, for me, the first, I was initially kind of hesitant with the sequel idea, but everyone else was like, oh, this should have been a sequel, there should be a sequel, there should be. But then I started to, fuck it. I mean, if they're gonna make a sequel to Cars, they're gonna make a prequel to Monsters University, why the fuck not do a Incredibles 2, you know?
Exactly. Incredibles 2 should have been the thing that, like, it's the only time where superheroes have been portrayed really well in animation, like, up to that time. And then after that, you get, like, Big Hero 6, which just blows everything out of the park. And that's all because of The Incredibles. And in The Incredibles, I think that came out, like, 2004 or something like that.
It's very important. It's a very important Pixar film because it was the first film where they really got humans down. They made a whole film about humans. And previously, they were less hesitant. They did fish. They did all those other creatures because their humans were kind of, stocky and bad looking.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
They innovated themselves. They made humans, and now you got films like Inside Out and all these other films that prominently have humans.
Well, I'm pretty sure The Incredibles 2 will be directed by Brad Bird, which did the first one, and he is a fantastic director. I think the only thing where he's
Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland, it was a little bit of a misstep, but visually it's very nice, but I don't think the story really hit home very well. But then, of course, he did one of the Mission Impossibles, and like
he did Iron Man. Iron Giant, not Iron Man.
The Iron Giant, yeah, exactly, and that's a fantastic film. That deserves a sequel as well. Actually, no, it doesn't need one. This is going into the place where it doesn't need category. So The Incredibles does need a sequel.
Well, I mean, there's no Iron Giant. There's no Iron Giant. So why would there be an Iron Giant too?
Well, exactly, yeah.
No spoilers. Oh, well, spoilers. Well, the movie's
Yeah.
old, and yeah.
Yeah, it's an old movie. I actually, the word talks of a prequel to the Iron Giant at one point.
That's I don't know. I don't know
No, I don't know either, and I don't think that they
he's
will.
not human.
But
He's like a robot at that point.
yeah, they don't need it. The movie summed up well, which completely and utterly contradicts what I just said about it. What I wanting a sequel for it.
Yeah.
No, you don't need it at all. Yeah, no, Brad Bird, like, I think he's a pretty sound director, and for him to come back to The Incredibles 2, and that is a film that needs a sequel because it left it on such a cliffhanger, and you're just thinking, well, what happens next? And it's a superhero thing as well, so it's very in at the moment.
I don't think the cliffhanger thing is the main point, because honestly, I feel like that's more of a here we go again, like, kind of thing. Like, there's always that kind of thing. But yeah, because I don't think the Underminer is going to be the main villain of the next one. Incredibles 2, looking forward to that.
So there's also another sequel coming out fairly soon. I don't know, it might be in the next couple of weeks. It's definitely been greenlit. Mary Poppins 2.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Lin-Manuel Miranda is going to be involved with that.
Like, do we need that? I thought that the first...
We don't. It's like, I remember there was news for It's a Wonderful Life 2. Like, that one was never needed.
God,
that was...
no.
I don't think it's ever going to be made.
No, I don't think it will be.
You wouldn't be surprised, though, with Hollywood. Those are films... Those are classic films. It's just so out of, like, the question. It shouldn't even be considered as a sequel.
You see, really, when you think of, like, bad sequels, or when I do, I always think of horror films, because horror films come out with the worst sequels. The worst sequels. Like The Exorcist 2. Like, The Exorcist is, like, a perfect movie in terms of horror. Like, that freaked me out so bad. But then you watch The Exorcist 2, and it's just boring. Like, nothing really happens in that.
That's the thing. I mean, horror films, they're essentially going to be franchises, no matter how ridiculous or anything like that. You can list... We could have done this whole thing on horror sequels, because there are so many stupid ones out there for shitty films.
My problem is that I can't really think... I don't really watch that much horror, so...
Yeah, no, I know that.
Really think too much. Although The Conjuring 2 came out recently.
Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that because I haven't seen the first, so...
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
I know the first one's pretty good, though.
There's one more thing I want to talk about. Talk about movies that deserve sequels but are never going to get it. Remember, have you seen Dredd? Dredd 2012?
I haven't, no.
That's not a lot of people have, but it's a 2012 adaptation of Judge Dredd. Do you know that one?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, really good adaptation. It's a very simple sort of story. It's very short, but very good action, very creative action moments. I feel like that's a film that everyone kind of wants a sequel, but because it really underperformed box office wise, it's never gonna get a sequel. And I'm one of those guys who's really hoping. There's the producer of the film, Adi Shankar. He's the guy that's been doing a lot of, Power/Rangers.
Yes, I do know that. Yes,
that was on his channel. He's also done dark stories of Punisher, Venom, all these characters, James Bond. He has a really interesting channel. I think you should check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. And yeah, he did a video on why a Dredd 2 is not going to happen, or at least not in any time soon, because there's always rumors. Oh, it's going to be in production or something like that. But it's a good video. I don't remember much of it now, but he went to like how difficult it is to executive produce a movie like that. So yeah.
A film that I would have liked to have seen a sequel to was Master and Commander. I don't know if you saw that. That was Russell Crowe and Paul. The guy that does Jarvis from Iron Man. Oh, Paul Bettany, I think. That was an exceptional adaptation of the original story. Well,
all I know about that movie is it was basically people were calling it Pirates of the Caribbean. Like,
but a lot. It was better for me. It was better because it was very well, Master and Commander was like a series of stories, if I remember right, in books. And I know that there was wordings that there were going to be another There was going to be another Master and Commander film, but it never got made, and it should have, because it was a fantastic film. It really was. I loved it.
It's about time to close this podcast off. We've talked about a lot of great sequels, a lot of shitty sequels, and a lot of sequels in general. But I think we the main point we kind of got across is they're going to be made no matter how unexpected it's going to be. And the ones you hope for are probably never going to get made for reasons. You know, it's hard to predict. And, you know, just hope for the best. And, yeah, any final thoughts on all this shit?
I want a second Galaxy Quest, but I can't now because
oh yeah, because Alan Rickman's dead.
Oh yeah, that was really sad because they were really gonna push that and it nearly happened.
That's like Ghostbusters 3. That's never gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
No, instead we have a remake. So
that looks fantastic. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I can't wait for that either. Actually, to be fair, the UK trailer looks really good. I watched the American trailer the other day. I watched the UK trailer in the cinema, and it actually looks really good. But the American trailer is arse. It really is.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that's it for today. This has been Roy Johnson,
and I've been Mr. Womble. If I turn on my mic.
Okay. Great outro. Yeah. Adios, muchachos. Yeah. This is. Hopefully this. Oh, we're not. I didn't record. Okay. Just kidding.
I was about to go apeshit.
Nah, it's been fun. Okay. See you guys. Bye.